Hey, howdy, hey, partners. Welcome to Today I Grew Up. We have another podcast style video interview with the legendary YouTuber, Duane Made It. You're watching Today I Grew Up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as we're on our way to 100,000 subs. And I'm super excited because I've been a fan of his channel for so long, and I know a lot of you partners out there are too. So we're going to get into the mind of who is this man of Duane Made It. So I already kind of give you an introduction. Go ahead and give yourself an introduction to all the partners out there.
Hey, partners. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you. My name is Duane Joseph Olson, aka Duane Made It, and I make things.
Awesome. Very cool. Short and to the point. I love it. So we actually did a video collaboration recently. You restored a Stars and Stripes Woody, which a lot of my audience was talking to me about. They're like, oh, that was so cool. And I know you made somebody else happy. Maybe we can start by, I guess, talking about that YouTube collab, and then we'll get more into why you started YouTube and all that fun stuff. So
Stars and Stripes Woody is such a misnomer because I feel like so many people, unless you're one of us, like
yeah.
they look at it and they think it's some sort of cheap knockoff, and it's
Yeah.
it's not a knockoff. It's a very niche,
Mm-hmm.
like limited edition thing. It was only available for a short time, and I wanted to. I mean, like we've said in the past, a lot of your guys watch my stuff. A lot of my guys watch your stuff, and so I thought it would be wonderful to. I thought it was a great opportunity for the first crossover, kind of like our Simpsons meets Family Guy moment, the
Yeah,
Jimmy
right.
Power Hour of Toy Story YouTube.
That's great. So I know you restored that for somebody, and it's so crazy because I saw that video, it almost looked like this was something you've done 100 times before. I mean, obviously, I know it's edited and all that, but just how hard is it to do a modification like this? I just want to hear your side of what was happening behind the scenes.
You say modification, and you're not wrong. I mean, it is a modification in a way, but it's not a modification into another kind of toy. It's a modification through time. A restoration is like a
Right.
modification through time, and it combines a lot of different skills and abilities, and you wear a lot of different hats, even though I'm usually wearing my Unisonus hat.
That's awesome.
It's you have to be an artist, but you also have to be a little bit of a detective. You have to be a little bit of a historian, a little bit of a housekeeper, because there's a lot of just cleaning involved. You have to look at what you've got, look up as many images and as much information as you can on what it once was. And you have to look at the two things and say, what happened between now and then, and how can I reverse it?
Right.
And that's, I don't know, there's just so much. I don't know. I'm a nerd as well as an artist, and I think that combines those things because I get to look at something and I get to I get to be creative, but I also it drives me to the books, and I spend a couple hours or a couple days on Google finding pictures and articles and names of materials and looking up different ways that other people have restored these things.
Yeah, and that's great. I'm glad you clarified that because you're right. It's more of a restoration and a historical project. There's just so much involved with being a toy handler. If you're going to do a modification or a restoration or a cleaning, like you said, there's just so much involved. And it's always interesting because even me, I've been doing this for many years now, and I'm still learning new things about these toys that have been produced, like a power up buzz or power blast buzz, and like what are the differences? When did they produce them? And other countries got different things than we did in the USA. So it's always been interesting to find out, like, oh, the UK got this slim taper Mattel Jessie body, but the USA version didn't have as many nice details. So it's always kind of interesting to learn these things. So that's what actually I love about your channel is that you almost kind of do, like, I feel like you should have your own show on TV where it's like toy restoration, like, and like do go into that deep dive of history of the process. And I think it'd be a cool show. I know I'd watch that. We're gonna segue now to how did you come up with the moniker or the term or the name or nickname Duane Made It, and how did you start the entrance into the world of Toy Story? That's what I want to know.
Well, do Toy Story came first, and then Duane Made It. The name came later. So I'll go in reverse
Sure.
time order. Um, I wanted I am very bad at coming up with names for things. Like I'm very indecisive. I'm incredibly. This is why I could never get a tattoo because it's permanent. I mean,
Right.
once you do it, you do it. And so because I'm so indecisive, it's very hard for me sometimes to come up with names of things because if you call it that and it's not a success, nobody's going to care. But if you call it that and it is a success, people are going to be saying that to you for the rest of your life.
That's true. That's very true.
Like for instance, Markiplier, I don't think ever intended on being called Markiplier for the rest of his life. It's just the name that he chose, and then boom, success. Oh, whoop, I guess I'm stuck with that. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I think a lot that's what happens to a lot of people. Not that I think I'm going to be at a Markiplier level. I can only
Right.
dream. But just in case, I put a lot of thought into it, and I wanted to have a little bit of sort of a snap to it when I introduce myself in my videos. That I say, "Hello, my name's Duane, and I make things," because that's very often what I say when people ask me what I do for a living.
Hmm.
Because I do a lot of stuff. I mean, I went to college for theater. I act, I write, I direct. I've voice act. I've done props and set pieces for film. I've done props and set pieces for theater. I have done a lot of repair work. I've done a lot of voiceover. I just did an audiobook that came out on Audible.
What's the
And
name of that one so we can plug it? What's the name of
oh,
that?
that's things seen and unseen. That
Awesome.
yeah, definitely not for our younger um listeners, but
That's
it
okay. Disclaimer. That's fine.
yeah. I had my hands in a lot of different pots. Is that the
Awesome.
expression? Oh boy, I
Yeah.
hope.
It's a new one now. You can use that.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
No,
I had a lot
that's
of pots.
awesome.
I had a lot of pots on my stove. I don't know what it is. I've had a lot of hats on my stove. Had a lot of pots on my head. I don't know.
And I think you have all the building blocks of what makes a great YouTuber. And I'll tell you why. Me being on this platform long enough as I have, you have to be kind of multifaceted like type of person who does just more than one thing. YouTubers are creators, we're creative people. I've had a multitude of things as I've done as well. I'm a therapist, I'm a musician. So outside of creating video content and being a collector, I love collecting guitars and playing and writing lyrics or writing melodies and recording music, touring the world, traveling the world. I love doing a lot of other things that are like non-Toy Story related, so
Yeah, I
we're
know you have a
yeah.
great passion for a lot of films besides Toy Story.
Right, exactly. Like I love Jaws. I love anything from Universal Pictures. I love Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, just like anything Steven Spielberg touched. I'm just in awe of.
We've never acknowledged this, but we have a very unspoken bond over Back to the Future.
Nice. Of course. I was going to say that. Back to the Future. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of all time. Toy Story is just the only thing that really took off from me. And actually, to be fair, it is the bulk of my collection. It already was. So, I mean, I'm just happy though to still do Back to the Future content. So that's cool. I'm glad you're a fan as well. Have you ever done anything on your channel or thought about doing anything like Back to the Future or other movies on your channel, like besides Toy Story?
Yes, I have. I actually have a whole. I have there's a monstrous Google Doc that I have
Awesome.
of things that I want to do that are Toy Story related because well, number one, I think that YouTubers who find success, not that you shouldn't always do what you want, you should always do what you want, but I think if there's a particular thing that really got you started, you should always touch on that every once in a while because
Right.
we're nothing without our audience.
Exactly.
I'm not, I can certainly say that for myself. It's are the people who are watching this right now, you're the reason we can do what we want to do. And if there are,
Exactly.
I'll be honest, not everything I do is Toy Story, but
Yeah.
I get a lot of people in my comments are like, do more Toy Story stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sometimes, but I'm also sometimes not, and it's tough, and sometimes that's met with, oh, sure, no problem. And sometimes it's met with, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So it's not a chore for me. It's not like I got to do more Toy Story stuff. I love Toy
Yeah.
Story,
Yeah. Of
so
course. Who doesn't? Right.
of course, literally, I don't trust people who like Toy Story.
I
So I'll
know.
always come back to it for that reason. And for that reason, there's a whole section of that Google Doc that's all Toy Story stuff.
Awesome.
Sometimes it's toy related, sometimes it's not. But going back to Toy Story, but there's a list of props from other Disney movies, plenty of other Disney movies, some film accurate, some interpretive. If I was going to make an actual replica of Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast, actually
Right.
carve that would be a prop replica or like a custom. So things
Yeah.
like that, and things from other movies, things from, a lot of like older classic movies, things from a lot more, recent um, films, and then a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with movies. Part of the reason I've taken a little bit of a step back from YouTube in recent months is because I have experienced two major losses in my personal life back to back, and one of
Sorry to
those.
hear.
That's thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
My condolences, of course. Yeah.
One of my friends that I lost. I put up a picture that I painted of her, a big canvas painting that um, I did in her memory, and that's a perfect example. Nobody was asking for that, but
Yeah.
it's important to me, and it's my channel.
And as much as like I always tell people, this channel, I mean, YouTube channels in general, they're not about us. They're really about the audience because they support who we are. At the same time, it doesn't negate that we are people who express ourselves. And if the audience loves and connects with you, they're gonna accept things like that. Those are gonna be your true fans. You know what I mean? Like a true fan will just love everything you do because they love who you are as a person. So it's always that delicate balance, right? You can't always just post whatever the heck you want, but I mean, you could, I guess, but if you're trying to build something, you kind of have to think of the larger audience as well. But I think that's great what you do. And I think, especially if you're doing something to honor someone's memory like that, I think it's a beautiful thing. And people who don't understand or they troll you, just block. There's a block button for a reason. So, but that's beautiful. I think that's awesome. And sometimes, it's okay to be personal in public, and people grieve different ways. I know people who grieve in public, and I know people who grieve in private. I do a bit of both. Sometimes I've lost people too, and in my family or friends, and it's tough. And sometimes I want to grieve publicly and sometimes I don't, but we definitely always honor their memory. And that's really special that you're able to come up with a special way to do that. So I mean, at least you have that. I was looking at your channel today. You have 16,000 subscribers and over 2.5 million channel views. How does that feel?
It's great. I mean, I remember back in the day, Markiplier posted a video talking about when his subscriber count. He was like, it got to the point where my subscriber count would fill a stadium.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot.
I think that if you look at your subscriber count and you think about what that number of people looks like,
Yeah.
if that's a small town, I mean, holy mackerel! I think it's very easy to shrug off numbers, literal figures.
Right.
If you think about people in terms of people, not people in terms of math, it's mind blowing, and my mind is beyond blown. I did my first Woody video in many parts, and then I put like all of them together
Right.
and
Mega video.
one big thing, and that's the one that really like that's the one that hit 1 million.
Right.
And I remember that day, and it was just amazing.
It makes you cry almost. It's like so much emotion. I've been there too, because I only had 10,000 subscribers 2 years ago. So like I can relate to you in that feeling of, okay, this is happening, whether we like it or not. Like, we roll with the wave and just do it, And for me, it was my saving grace from, I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety, and I wasn't happy in my job. And YouTube was my coping skill, it was my escape from reality. And now this has become my new reality. So I definitely understand what that really means, to just feel like, oh my gosh, like people actually care, like they actually care. And that's something special that you can't really like describe, right?
It combines two very interesting things, because I think it's one of the most honest things you can do to make stuff or to like have stuff made. And it's one of the most immortalizing things you can do to put yourself into the form of media, whether that's
Right.
photography or video or film or music, whatever it is. If it's something that will live on when you fade away. And we're doing both of those things at the same time.
Right.
It combines I think one of the two most beautiful things that human beings can do.
Yeah.
And that goes for any YouTube artist, and in all forms of medium. I mean, like my personal my biggest inspiration, my favorite artist is Bobby Dugarts. I don't know if you ever watched Bobby Dugarts.
I have actually. Yeah, I do know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, I'll be that guy's videos I will be watching in the nursing home.
That's awesome.
You know
That's
what I mean?
great.
I will be,
Everybody has one of those, I think, one of those things where they just can watch over and over again. And it's just like, it feels good every time, So I've definitely been there with shows and TV and movies and TV shows and, even comedians too that I like. So I can relate
absolutely.
to that.
Maybe this resonates with you, maybe it doesn't. But I feel like so many people who do what we do, everyone's always saying, "Oh, you should watch this, you should watch that."
Yeah.
You should watch. I'm like, yeah, it's on my list. And then we actually watched and absorbed Netflix or something. It's something we've seen a million times.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. And
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people will say, claim this is original. But if you really look at it, it's always inspired by somebody else. Every great comedian, every great actor, every great movie, TV show was built upon a foundation from something else that influenced it. It's just
Mhm.
even going back to Shakespeare's time and Shakespeare and how he wrote his plays and how he wrote amazing art. And that's what laid the foundations for storytelling. You know what I mean?
And
So,
even Shakespeare, half of those were based on real events or actual monarchs that existed.
exactly.
It was
Right.
real occurrences. Yeah.
It's always an inspiration and inspiration. And that's why I feel like it's amazing that we have an opportunity now to inspire others out there, because who knows with our content creation, what person we can inspire to go on and do other things with what we inspired them with, whatever that is, big or small. You know what I mean? It's
That's
cool.
what I mean. That's what it's all about. I mean, if
Yeah.
I tagged in something or if I get a DM of somebody who did something, anything, because they saw X project or they saw this video or they saw that post, it fills me with so much joy. I can't even describe it. I mean, like, that's the closest I think you can get to magic. It's like a thing that I did in you caught it. It infected you. It's like, you
Right.
now have it and you're gonna it's like it's it behaves the same way as like a disease, but it's glorious.
It's almost describing the feeling of Disneyland for me. Like it's like
Yeah.
the magic of Disney and Walt Disney and Disneyland. I mean, I'm blessed that I live an hour away from Anaheim Disneyland. I go all the time. That's what I've done and I do. I love the inspiration. I've been inspired by Disneyland and Walt Disney my whole life, and so it's just kind of like it's just so inspiring because he literally created things from the figment of his imagination and shared it with others and inspired who knows how many generations now. So it's amazing.
A lot of the movie was written, to be written. But or what I mean by that is I know that not all of it was based on true events, but the movie Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, great movie.
Seen it? One of my favorite movies. I was actually I spoke to Disney for a very brief period about doing a stage adaptation of
Nice.
because I work in theater and I was going to do a sniff of Saving Mr. Banks and I had planned it and I had like a printed script in front of me
Wow.
and they were very kind. They very nicely said no.
Oh, okay. Hey,
They're very quick, very gracious. Yeah.
at least they, you got something from them, a response,
Yeah, yeah.
But see that's great though, that you tried, and that shouldn't stop you from trying again in the future.
I tried to make certain adaptations before then, and I will continue to do it again. I mean, like for instance, I've always wanted to do a stage adaptation of the Polar Express.
Nice. That'd be
And
great.
I will go down with that train. Like going down with a ship, I will go down with that train to the end of my life.
There's so many fans of that, and I, myself included. So I hope you get to do that because I would love to see that. That sounds awesome. But segueing back to Disney, I really one thing I wanted to talk to you about was about the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang thing, and the whole like how it ended up like getting to Dick Van Dyke, and like that just blew my mind. So for those people out there who have no idea what I just said, if you can kind of like talk about that whole thing and tell your story, I'd love to hear it because that's very inspirational, even for me. So
That I've said it a billion times. I'll say it a billion more. If
awesome.
that's the coolest thing that happens to me, I'm fine with that. That
Awesome.
was it. One of the people who wrote me a recommendation letter when I was first applying for college. I was expressing some nervousness and still am. I mean, it's not like it's over, but some
Yeah.
nervousness about, oh, what's gonna happen to me? What am I gonna do with my life? What am I gonna accomplish? I just don't quite know what path I'm gonna go down. And she
Right.
looked at me and goes, Duane, something is gonna happen to you. And it
That's
was,
awesome.
And out of context, it almost sounds ominous,
I know,
but it was
right?
so
Something's
simple
gonna
in the
happen.
moment. Something's gonna happen to you, and that I truly, if that's by something, I'm fine with that. My father showed me the movie because it's his favorite movie. My father,
Oh wow,
whose name is also Duane, um,
nice.
uh, showed me that movie. You can hear his voice in a couple of my videos.
Oh, interesting. Good to know.
Yeah, and I actually there's a picture of us in the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang video if you go to my channel
Yeah, I did
about
see that. I did see that. Yeah.
yeah. So he showed me this movie when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and my mind was blown
Right.
because it was so I loved musicals and movies and magic, and
Oh
I
yeah.
loved cars and making things and mechanics and inventing, and this was
Yeah.
things combined, and it was just insane.
Hey,
And
it's kind of like Back to the Future, the musical. It's similar to what you just described. You know, kind
exactly, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
of the
no, no,
same.
and I will not stop until I've conquered every famous car from film and from
Yeah.
stage and screen. I was shown this movie from a very young age, and my mind was blown. I mean, I would come home from preschool or kindergarten, and it's like, oh, Duane did another crayon drawing of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. We'll slap it up with the other 400. And
Nice.
yeah, it really resonated with me. If you haven't seen the movie, really pause this video. It'll be here when you
Yeah.
come back. Go watch the movie for context and come back so you know what I'm talking about. It's just delightful. It's also bonkers. I mean, it's off the rails. It's a very
Right.
strange movie. I'm not going to tell you that it's normal. It's very, very, a very all over the place, but I love it. And I went through life like that. And it, I had always dreamed of doing what Dick Van Dyke did, because if you just paused and went and watched the movie,
Right. Right.
Dick Van Dyke's character builds this car. He takes it from this scrap heap, this old, rusty thing of the past, and
Right.
he changes it, but not only restores it, but modifies it, kind of like what we do. And
Exactly.
all these adventures ensue, and it's so much more of a magical creation than he had ever envisioned, and it's beautiful. And I had always dreamed of doing that. I always wanted to make the car. I always wanted to do something with the story. It was a
Awesome.
part of my life, and I wanted to keep it a part of my life. Fast forward many years later, I was applying to direct my first musical at the Rhinebeck Center for Performing Arts here in Central New York. And that was a place that I had worked at, and I had done some shows before, but I had never directed. I had directed some shows before, but not there.
Right.
And I was in talks with the managing director to do this, and I was throwing around a couple ideas here and there, older musicals, simpler musicals, things that wouldn't be too hard for my first big project. And then I
Right.
went, ooh, the rights for the stage version of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang are available,
Nice.
which I got to see on Broadway when I was like 7.
That's amazing. That's really cool that you saw that.
It was, yeah, I was in the room. It was amazing. And I was like,
What do
and
I do?
a voice in my head said, go big or go home. And so I
Nice.
wrote up a proposal for the stage version of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I sent it in. And I was picturing a response. I mean, I had just turned 21. I mean, I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, I'm 24 now. It was 3 years ago, not that long ago at all. My point is, I was young then. I'm still young. Not that, I mean, a lot of people think I'm like, 35, 40.
Nah, nah. You're a young guy. That's pretty young.
I am. I was 7 for a long time, and then overnight I became roughly 35.
That's pretty magical.
Right. But I put in my proposal for this show, and I was expecting, okay, kid, what do you think you're doing? Get out of here. But
Yeah.
he went, yeah, no, I think this can work. And I was like,
Whoa.
really? And he produced the show, and we did the show.
That's
And
amazing.
the biggest challenge of doing that show is the car.
Right.
And there's only a handful out there that you can buy or rent or use, and most of them are usable, are either way too expensive or a million miles away. Even if it's a cheap rental fee, it costs $1 million to get it to ship from
Yep.
California all the way over here.
That's
And it was
true.
like, well, we're gonna have to build it. And
Go
so I
big or go
went back
home.
to my dad, the same guy who, yeah, exactly, go big or go home. And I was like, hey, I don't know what to do about this. He's like, I'll help you.
Nice.
And so my
Very
father
cool.
and I, along with, it wasn't just the two of us. We had, my high school woodshop teacher helped us out a lot.
Wow, that's
Um,
amazing that you got him involved too. That's cool. It's like a hometown
yeah,
project.
yeah, exactly. And a very very, very talented artist friend of mine is the person who ended up doing the paint job on the car. A lot of creative engineering. It's actually, if you look at it, shockingly, most of this car is made out of wood. Even the hood of the car is made out of wood.
Whoa, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
because it looks like metal, doesn't it? But it's
Yeah,
not,
it does.
because
Wow, that's
it had to
impressive.
be. It's not an actual road going vehicle. It has to be lightweight. Um,
Mm, that makes
and
sense.
yeah, because it's going to be used on stage, and so it's wood that's painted to look like metal.
Wow,
And
that's pretty
for its
amazing.
creation, it was very well received. It was a fantastic cast, and I keep in touch with everybody, and it was a wonderful team, wonderful group. Very proud of that show. So I kept the car, and I
Wow,
would
that's
rent it out.
amazing.
I kept the
That's
car after that, and I would rent it out, and I would you split the profits with the theater because it's an amazing theater. Actually, I don't mean to force a plug, but we're going through a pretty hard time right now at this theater. If you're able to put a
no,
link,
go. Yeah, I'd love to support and help. So go
thank
ahead and
you.
promote it. Go ahead and I'll
Yeah.
put the link up and everything.
That
Yeah.
my friend who passed away
Mhm.
was the artistic director of this theater.
Okay.
My one of them, not Tori, who I did the painting of, but somebody else.
Right.
We're going through a really hard time, and if anybody's able to, um, you
What's the
know,
name of the theater? What's the name
it's
of
that
it?
is the Rhinebeck Center for Performing Arts.
Rhinebeck Center for Performing Arts. Okay.
Yeah, and our
I'll
website
I'll
is
pin the link in the
www.
comments.
Yes,
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you so much. It's centerforperformingarts.org. Very easy to remember. It's a hard time for theaters and COVID. You know.
Yes, definitely. I
Um,
understand.
but anyway, I thank you for that. I
Of course.
so yeah, I would rent it out, and I would split the profits with the theater, and had a little website for it. And I was like, this is a great way to continue to get it out there, because it's a shame to put all that work into the car and only have it be used in one production. And I thought, oh, I'll get a high school here, I'll get a regional production there, and that's exactly what happened. Then one day I got a phone call, the company that said, yeah, we'd like to reserve the car to use for a production at such and such a date at such and such a time. And I was like, great, cool. Yeah, it's available. Are you able to tell me more about what this production is? And like a month later, I finally got another phone call, and they were like, hey, remember us? And I was like, yeah, no, yes, I do remember you. Are you able to tell me what it is? And they said, well, it's the Kennedy Center Honors. I played it so cool. I'm so proud of how cool. I was sitting there on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's in my head. I wanted to scream to the rooftops. What I actually said was, "Oh, nice."
Very, very smooth. You're a smooth guy. That's what it
I was
means.
like,
You're playing it cool.
well, that's great. That's great. And for the uninitiated, the Kennedy Center Honors is event to honor people who have devoted their entire life to their craft, whether that's music or that's film or
Right.
stage or people, whatever it is you've devoted to. It's an award you can get. It's like getting an Oscar, but for
Right.
life, not just for your performance in a movie.
That's awesome.
They happen every year, and the president of the United States is there, and it's just amazing. And they were honoring Dick Van Dyke,
It's amazing.
who is I believe 95, 96 now.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, and they came, and my delivery guy went and took it down to Washington D.C. for this event, and I was just so honored, and I still am so
That's
honored,
awesome.
because I am not the only person who owns one of these Chee Bang Bang cars. I'm not the only person who has ever made one. I'm not the only person who has one, and they chose mine,
That's
and
amazing.
it was really something, and I'll cherish it for the rest of my life. I had Pentatonics and Errant Fate
That's amazing.
use
And
my car, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go down. It was a very, very tight audience because of COVID.
right.
I wasn't able to meet Dick Van Dyke, although I was able to get in touch with him via Cameo, and that's if in that video he spoke to me and reacted to the car, and,
Yeah,
and
it's
told me what he
amazing.
thought of it.
Duane, is your dad there? I want to tell you something. You guys just blew me away. That chitty is perfect. How did you do it? Don't tell me how you did it. How long did it take? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
he that's how I was able to get in touch with him. So I do have a connection to him, and I'm very blessed. But I literally I was inspired to make this car by Dick Van Dyke, and I then got to make the car that was used to honor Dick Van Dyke. And if that is the most beautiful full circle achievement I could ever ask to accomplish.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That to me gives me chills, those stories, because it's like, this is what dreams are made of. People spend their whole lives trying to chase their dreams. Some catch them and some don't. And, but at the same time, like, it's just moments like this where you're like, it was just meant to be. You know what I mean? Like, this was just meant to be. It was kind of like the universe just graced you with this blessing. And it was just like, we know Duane, we know his heart. We want to bless him. And that's what happened. It's great. It's great to hear it. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you, man. That's an amazing story. I love to hear that story.
As you can tell, I ramble on about it any chance I get.
No, that's great.
I'll never live that down. I will never get over it.
Yeah. And speaking about dreams, like, it's same for me. I've had those experiences where I get that phone call to open up. I played the House of Blues in Anaheim, California. It was a sold out show. There's over 1,000 people there. My favorite band, Slick Shoes, is a punk band I grew up, listening to. A lot of people, actually, the Jonas Brothers actually name dropped them once. They're like, yeah, we listen to Slick Shoes. So they're kind of popular, and they called me and they're like, hey man, we love your band. We want you to open up this sold out show for us. I just remember that day too, like feeling like I was like out of body experience, because it's like my whole life, I just wanted to perform a big stage. And now I was actually opening up for my musical heroes. So I understand that feeling of like dream fulfillment, full circle. It's like, man, I used to be a 12-year-old kid in my bedroom wishing for moments like this, and now it happened. And it's just, it's mind blowing.
And it makes it so much more amazing that you got the phone call, and that I was lucky enough to get the phone call. I mean, it's there's so much to be said for working your way there and getting you going and grabbing that achievement. But it's a completely different thing to have that offered to you, to have them reach out to you and say, please do this. I mean, there's just nothing like it in the world. And it's when you're a creator of things, it's the best thing that can happen to you.
And it's funny because I'll get people saying all the time, you're lucky, you're lucky, you're lucky. And then I try to like very politely say, it's not luck, it's hard work that got us here. You know what I mean? Because if you really think about it, there is maybe, okay, I will acknowledge there's some luck component to these things. But the reason why people reach out to us or they find us is because they're noticing hard work at work. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody saw your car and saw, wow, that took a lot of hours and time of hard work. We appreciate that hard work. We're going to reach out to them. And that, that was like my case for my phone call. It wasn't just this random, let's pull a number out of a hat. It was like, we got noticed because we've been working hard on something. And I think, we always got to remember that, yes, it's part luck, but it's mostly hard work. And I think people need to understand anybody can catch their dreams, but how hard are you willing to work for that dream? And I think that's why I come up with my motto. It's a little long, but I always say, always work hard, never give up, put your mind to it, dream big and you can accomplish anything and make impossible and impossible. And that's why I try to inspire people to attain that, but you have to work hard for it, So that's why I like that you say Duane made it, because you're constantly making things. You're not just dreaming things. You're doing things.
In the interest of coming full circle, Kevin Archambault, the artistic director of this theater who just passed, something he said once to one of our casts was, there are going to be times where it is the absolute easiest thing to do is going to be to throw in the towel.
Yep.
And those are the times where you can't do it.
Right.
When it is easiest to give up, that's how that's the last time you should even think about it. When you shouldn't, when it's easiest to do so.
Yep. And I love that you said that, because that's really inspirational. There was times in my career on YouTube that I wanted to give up and throw in the towel as well. There was times where I was like, why am I even working this hard? It doesn't really matter. And then I realized that, it was something that was calling me and calling me and calling me, and I couldn't ignore it. But I learned I need to put the work in. And even when it gets really hard and I feel like giving up, because that happens a lot,
Mhm.
you that's when you push harder and you just go full throttle, because once you get over that hill, it's like climbing up a mountain, right? You're just like, man, this is horrible. I'm out of breath, I'm sweating, I'm dehydrated, I'm not gonna make it, right? You tell yourself these things, but then when you get to the top and you see that view, suddenly all the bad things just melt away. You're breathing normally again. You get clarity. You're just like enjoying the sights. You have fresh air in your lungs, and you're just like, man, this is just a beautiful moment. And I'm glad I didn't give up the hike because I'm seeing an incredible view. And that's how I view a lot of obstacles in life. It's always kind of like that kind of metaphor.
You're absolutely right, and
Yeah.
it's tough some days. I mean, right now, I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't posted a video in a good few months, I think, at this point, and just because I've just had so much going on, and
Right.
it's there have been a couple times where I look at the channel and I go, maybe I should just let it run its course. I mean, it's been very fun.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful, but maybe I should just let it run its course. And I'm like, no,
That's how
no.
you know. That's a sign.
Exactly, because it would
That's a
be
sign.
so easy to throw in the towel. I know that I can't, and I have a lot of projects planned.
Right.
It's actually I don't want to give it away, but I had a car, another, not Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but a car related film accurate prop type thing
Nice.
that I was going to work on, that actually involved me purchasing a used car and modifying it.
Whoa, that'd be awesome.
I still plan to do that at some point, and
Sounds
that's going to
good.
be huge. But just to name one thing, but I've got a whole list, and as we work our way out of winter, I'm hoping to be able to stick to an upload schedule of like every 2 weeks or something like that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that, which I think will be good for everybody. I think it'll be much better for my crowd to get regular content. It'll be very good for me to stick to a schedule so that it's harder to fall into these creative ruts like I'm in right now, which we all get into.
Which is totally normal and totally fine. And I went through many creative ruts before I figured out a formula that worked for me. And that took, I've been on this platform since 2012, the end of 2012. So, it's okay. There's no set schedule for you. And I always tell people, like, just trust your gut. If you wanted to give up on your car project, you would have never had Dick Van Dyke see your car. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think of like the things that got you to where you are. So if you give up your channel now and that was it, how do you not know that, a year or two from now, it's going to lead to something bigger for you or something else for you? And that's how, that's what happened to my channel. I could have abandoned it, but it led to me now reaching almost 100,000 subscribers. You know what I mean?
You're
like,
so close.
I'm very close. Yes. Thank you.
You're so
so close.
YouTube has noticed you.
Yeah, they have. They actually commented on my Instagram.
And it's only a matter of
Yeah,
time. I mean, you've been gassing me up. Let me gas you up. It's only a matter of time before Disney starts sponsoring you, because
That's possible.
the guy who does all the Disney impressions. I know that they linked up with him, and it's you are that guy of toys.
Thank you so much. My dream is one day, if Disney were to call me and be like, hey, look, we're going to update the Disney store, Woody, we'd love to have you as a consultant on our team, or at least help us advise these details. I'd be the first person to, like, if they let me, I would hire a team of my experts that I know, you included. I would call you in and be like, hey man, let's make sure I got all the details right, because I can't do everything alone, but I have a good eye, but I have friends who have good eyes as well. So yeah, I value you and I appreciate you as well.
I can't imagine why they would do that.
I know
they would make so much money.
Who doesn't want to make money?
It's what everybody is asking for. Yeah. I mean, I often wonder if there's some sort of anti-product placement policy on the Barney the Dinosaur show. Apparently,
I remember, yeah.
The doll that they have on the Barney the Dinosaur show was you could not buy that.
Whoa.
That was like, I mean, you could go out and buy a stuffed Barney the Dinosaur toy, but it looked absolutely nothing like there. And I think it's some sort of anti-product placement policy, perhaps, where you can't sell something that looks exactly like what you have on screen. I don't know if I don't even know if that's true or not. That's just a rumor that I've heard, but that's often when we talk about, like, why isn't Disney making this? Why isn't Disney making this? I think that there's a slight chance something like that may be preventing it.
I heard two things, and these could be rumors too, but the two things I heard was, number one, they try to do the prototypes, but at the end of the day, whoever makes the decision says, kids are really responding to the open mouth, the smile. If the doll looks too serious, they might not. They're afraid it won't sell. That's what I've heard. Another theory is we can't produce the perfect Woody because then what's going to happen to all these hundreds and maybe millions of dolls that we still have to sell, especially Disney at the Disney store and their Disney parks. They have truckloads of Woody still to sell, so I mean, it could be something that they're going to sit on for the future. We don't know. I mean, I'm hoping with the Lightyear movie, Toy Story 5 eventually. I mean, it would make sense to make another Toy Story
Is that in the works?
I haven't heard officially, but when your movie just made $1 billion and every Toy Story movie is making over $1 billion in revenue, why wouldn't you think about a Toy Story 5?
I'll tell you right now. Let me,
yeah.
I hope that they don't make a fifth one. In other words,
Yeah.
I hope that they don't continue the story, but I would be absolutely fascinated by a prequel.
I think it could happen just because of the money's there. It's just going to be tricky because a lot of voice actors have passed away, which I did a video recently on. So it's like they're going to have to recast and rehire, which I don't know if they're willing to do for some characters. So
yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, this is what I want. And I was saying, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but
Yeah.
I had said so many times that they should make a movie like Lightyear. I want to see a movie about Buzz Lightyear, the person, not the toy. And I'm convinced that Disney was tapped into my Discord conversations because I was like, this is what I've been saying. But I want a movie about Woody. I mean, Woody, as we know, was made in the late 50s, but we pick up on the story in the early 90s. I mean, that's decades that are unaccounted for. What happened between then and now? And I mean, we all have there's a million theories out there about Andy's dad and about them having the toy and it's just being a family thing. We could go a million different ways. I would be so fascinated if they looked into something like that.
I thought about the same thing. I'm like, I want an origin story for Andy's dad even, and how he even got the Woody in the first place before he handed it on to, his son, Andy. So I kind of want to know, like, what was that backstory? Maybe they can do an origin story for a prequel to Toy Story 1, like you said, but then also like Woody's origin story, like a Woody's Roundup origin story. How did that show get cast? Well, more of the Woody's Roundup episodes would be kind of cool to like explore, almost like Saving Mr. Banks, but like Woody's Roundup. Imagine, that'd be kind of crazy, like cool.
There's a project that I started working on right before the pandemic hit, which was a short film about the voice actor who plays the voice of Woody, not Tom Hanks.
Okay.
I'm talking about, it was a short film about called Reach for the Sky.
Cool.
About that I mapped out the screenplay, and it was about canonically the guy who plays the voice of Woody on Woody's Roundup in the 50s. It's not a very long thing. It's just him in the recording studio, just recording his lines and wrestling a little bit with his own self-image. I like doing just a smidge of storytelling. Like almost every video I have is me making something.
Yeah.
But if you sift through, there's a video for a fake trailer for a movie just about Mr. Krabs.
Awesome. Mr. Krabs, that's awesome.
It has nothing to do with anything else I've made ever, but I was just like, what if there was a movie about Eugene Krabs and completely without SpongeBob?
That's genius.
I just want to know his backstory. So I things like that, right smack dab in the middle of my content between me, building a film accurate Lumiere and doing a modification on a car might be a little film project about
that'd be amazing. No, I kind of feel like it's only a matter of time. One day Disney might reach out to you for something, or you might pitch a short and they might, take you on. I think you have great ideas, my friend. So keep up the hard work. I believe that you're going to do something huge one day. You already have. I mean, but you're still, like you said, this is the time where we thrive. We're young adults and we're going into the world and we're just, we're rolling the dice, see what happens, but working hard.
As long as we're talking about accomplishments, I mean, I haven't delved too deep into your band's music, but from what I've seen, I'm very interested, and I think we should write a musical. I think is what
I'd love to.
I write. I mean, that's what I went to college for. I was a playwriting major, and so if you or your group, is ever interested in doing any storytelling,
that's cool, dude. I'm very open to that. Actually, that's a really genius idea. Our band is we're kind of always been the hometown heroes. We're like a very little local band, but at the same time, we've had some amazing successes. We've been on the radio. I've been charted on Billboard before. I've toured Japan. We've toured the West Coast, and so we have accomplishments. We're not as famous as like Blink-182 or anything, but I'm very proud of the success we do have, and it's something I'm always going to do. And all the music you hear on Today I Grew Up is a lot of it is like war, like for the intros or just in the video, you'll hear my music in there sometimes. So.
Are you a fan of? I mean, I know you said you really like shows or stories or performances that resonate with you or that you really like, musicals you like.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but I love Chicago, the musical. I was a huge fan of Chicago when that came out. I saw it in the theater like 3 or 4 times. I love Chicago. It's one of my favorite musicals.
You've seen it on Broadway?
I haven't seen it on Broadway, just online. I saw it online.
I'm friends with an incredible Tony Award-winning actor named James Monroe Iglehart.
Oh, cool.
And I say, I mean, it's not like, we don't call each other up, but it's, I've seen him a number of times and actually just last week I just saw him. And he is about to take over the role of Billy Flynn.
Wow, that's amazing.
In Chicago, man. On Broadway.
That's so cool. Thanks for sharing with that. That's such an awesome thing. My other dream though, besides that, to watch that in person on a stage play would be Back to the Future, the musical in the UK. I know it's premiering there. That's my dream. I haven't seen it yet because I don't want any spoilers. I want to physically go there. I'm just waiting for this whole COVID thing to travel, but that's my whole goal is to see that in person. Have
you seen the trailer?
I have seen the trailer though. Yeah, the trailer looks amazing. Yeah,
that's all I was gonna say.
I will watch the trailer, but I'm like avoiding any other kind of spoilers because I want to just enjoy it, the magic when I see it in person. So I'm excited. That's like my dream.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
This isn't a spoiler.
Okay.
I have not seen it, but I don't know if you know the how much you know about the actors, but the guy who plays Doc is Roger Bart, who's an incredible stage actor. But he also played Dr. Frederick Frankenstein in the Mel Brooks musical Young Frankenstein. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't think Roger Bart's going to stop until he's played every mad scientist on Broadway.
That's amazing. Hey, that's really cool.
It's not the first time that he's played a mad scientist.
Everybody has like their thing, and like maybe that just was his thing. And he's just like, I got to do this,
I love his work so much, but he's great at playing crazy characters. He played Principal Nero in the series of unfortunate events. He's got these bug eyes and he's this kind of crazy voice and his hair is always like boom. So I think it's just
awesome.
It suits him.
I mean it almost reminds you of Christopher Lloyd too, because that guy could play anybody, like,
oh God, like one of the most versatile character actors of our time.
Like he's in Roger Rabbit and people forget like, oh, he was in Roger Rabbit. Like, yeah, he was in that movie, he plays Addams Family, like he's iconic. He's Hollywood history, so. Do you have any more questions for me? I have a few more for you. And then
what's the newest? I mean, you don't even have to tell me what it is, but I mean, do you have anything big on the horizon, or is there like something unprecedented that you have in the works? You don't have to spoil any of it. I don't know. I mean, what do you? Because you're also approaching 100,000 subscribers. Right. How are we going to celebrate this?
I already announced this in my. I did a video vlog telling everybody when I hit my 90,000 subscribers special video, which you can watch. I basically said, I'm buying toys right now. I want to do an epic toy giveaway. You and I both get comments every day. Hey, can I have a toy? Can I have a toy? So to appease the fans, I'm actually going to do a giveaway. I'm buying about maybe 10 or more Disney store toys because I can afford that. And then I'm going to just do a random drawing. I'm going to get on live stream once it's like 99,999 and then like just have a live stream 100K party. I'll stream as long as we can, and we're just going to have a party and give a bunch of toys away, make people happy, celebrate the success together as a community. And then my next goal is some very crazy mods that I have coming. I can't talk about, but I am working with people from Brazil right now. I'm working with people in the UK right now for another mod. Lightyear movie's coming, and that's going to be huge for my channel. So Lightyear is going to take all my energy. This for the toys, the movie release. I'm going to do a lot of crazy stuff for Lightyear. I'm going to milk Lightyear until there's nothing left to make of Lightyear, basically.
Milk Lightyear until the next Toy Story installment comes along. Which
basically, and then I have some other crazy plans. It's just hard because you're right. I can't really talk about it. And I want to do we can talk about this for the first time. I want to do a collaboration with you.
But I would love to make a vest for you because I
Cool.
hand paint my vests, and I know you. Correct me if I'm wrong, you use Sharpie, right?
Yeah, I actually use Sharpie on that because it works.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm certainly not saying that it looks bad, but
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
making them that way. So if you ever want a vest or something like that, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. I have something exciting to talk to you about, but before we reveal it to the public, we'll talk about it first, see if it's realistic.
That's off camera.
And then we'll tease it because I think it'll be fun, and I think it'll be a huge video, and then people can see more of what you do. Duane Made It. On Duane Made It, you can make a video kind of showing the process, and then I can also make video content on it, so it'll be fun. A good partnership, so
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What's your favorite Toy Story character? I always ask. And what's your favorite Toy Story toy? Is it the same? Tell me why or why not.
I don't feel that it's fair to say Buzz or Woody because it's like if somebody asks you who your favorite Harry Potter character is, if you say Harry Potter, you're copping out. So aside from Buzz and Woody,
aside from them,
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Okay.
But the character of Gabby
really
is one of the few. It really sticks out.
Okay.
To me. I'm not. I don't want to go on record saying she's my favorite because again, I really don't know if I could pick a favorite.
Yeah.
But Gabby is the character that breaks the Toy Story villain cycle.
It's true.
Because you have Stinky Pete, who's a toy that is unloved, and he turns it into a weapon, and that's how he goes down. You have Lotso, who's a toy who's unloved. He turns it into a weapon, and that's how he goes. And then you have Gabby, who is a toy that's unloved. She turns it into a weapon, and there's this moment of like, oh, maybe it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's good writing.
That it is. It's great writing, and I think that's. I mean, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but it's one of the amazing things about 4. I cannot believe the amount of backlash there is about 4. I think 4 is one of the most intelligent, brilliant movies I've ever seen, and I just I won't stay on my soapbox for long, but it's just like I don't like what Woody did. He made the bad choice. I don't like it. That's a you problem. You don't like it. I'm very sorry that you don't like the choice that he made. But that's kind of the point. Aside from Gabby, I mean, I think it's got to be Woody. And I think Woody is about growth and change. Because aside from Sid, he's almost the villain of his own story in 1. Right. In 2, he has nightmares and is agonizing and is having anxiety attacks over being thrown out. In 3, it almost happens, and in 4, he willingly accepts that it is happening. It's just there's so much growth.
It's amazing character development for Woody. It's just really great storytelling. That's why. I mean, that's why Toy Story, even though it's so on the nose, that's what makes it so epic because that's about toys and it's an epic story. I love that. It's great. What are your future plans going forward? Can you tease anything for the channel? And then if you can promote any of your links besides the donation for the theater, your personal social media links so people can get in touch with you. I'd love to hear that.
Right, of course. Well, I mean, it's right here. I wasn't even going to show it, but I have, this is a 78. This is a 1978 Mickey Mouse figurine that has been through the ringer, and it's absolutely. I mean, this is supposed to be red. It's like the sad orange, and it's covered in dirt. I mean, the paint's gone, the plastic is all yellowed. This is something I'm going to be restoring soon. I bought this the same day that I bought the doll from 1928 that I restored for Business Insider. When those people got in touch with me, they wanted a multitude of options to go through. This was one of the losers, but I still have it. That's a restoration that's going to be coming out. Yeah, nothing big, but I mean, I just happen to have it off to the side here, so I figured, I'd tell you that. I'm going to be doing a lot of custom art projects as well. I'm going to be doing, I want to keep it kind of proportional. I don't want it to be all restorations. I don't want it to be all projects. I don't want it to, or all art projects, and I don't want it to be all Toy Story. So people can expect at some point soon, I hope, a regular upload schedule with an equal amount of pretty much everything that I do and that's listed on the channel. So that's coming. Yep.
I'm really proud of your success. Congratulations on all of it. You are a man of many talents, and I'm glad I got to know you a little better today. And for our audience too, everybody, please go to Duane Made It's YouTube channel. Go subscribe right now to this man. He's hardworking. He's awesome. As you heard it, you never know what he can make next. So
Duane Made It, and I'm
Yeah,
Duane
it's
Made It
great.
on Instagram. There's my channel, my website, which I'm wearing one of my own shirts right now. If you come to my channel after watching this video with Today I Grew Up, please let me know so that I know, I want to be able to welcome the friends that are coming directly from this video. So please, let me know. And if for some reason you're one of my audience members who hasn't heard of Today I Grew Up, and I think that's impossible, but please, continue to watch his content, because I can't thank the Toy Story Nation enough for enabling their president to ask me if I wanted to have a Zoom call.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled by everything you just said. So thank you so much for everything. And I wish you the best of luck, success. And I want to do this again another time in the future. We'll touch base. And after this, definitely want to talk to you about some ideas I have for this year. Maybe we can link up and do something epic together too, man.
Oh, that'll definitely happen. I have no
Very
doubt.
cool. I'm excited too then. All right, man. Take care. Thank you, partners, for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost 100,000 subscribers, and the epic toy giveaway is coming soon, so you don't want to miss out. Thank you, Duane, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Take care, man.
You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear. You're an action figure.
You are a sad, strange little man. You are a sad, strange little man.
You are a child's plaything. Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.